crew neck. The one everyone owns. Round neckline that sits right at the base of your throat. Short sleeves, no collar, no buttons. Just a simple pullover tee. The name comes from rowing crews in the 1920s, who wore them as undershirts beneath their uniforms. The U.S. Navy adopted them as standard-issue undergarments, and by the 1950s, guys like Marlon Brando and James Dean made them acceptable to wear on their own. Now it's the foundation of basically every casual outfit on the planet. Works under jackets, flannels, or completely on its own. White is the classic, but you probably have 10 of these in every color. If you only own one type of t-shirt, it's this one. V-neck. Same as a crew neck, but the neckline dips down into a V shape at the front. The depth of the V varies from subtle to deep. Originally designed as an athletic undershirt in the early 1900s, so the collar wouldn't peek out above a dress shirt or sweater. The open neckline elongates the neck and shows a bit of chest. Some guys swear by it, others think it's trying too hard. A shallow V looks clean and modern. A deep V is a whole different statement. Works great layered under blazers or cardigans where you don't want a crew neck bunching up. Scoop neck. A wider, deeper, curved neckline that scoops below the collarbone. Sits lower and wider than a crew neck, but doesn't come to a point like a V-neck. Popular in women's fashion since the 1940s, when Hollywood actresses wore them for a more relaxed, glamorous look. The wider opening shows off your collarbones and necklaces. It's a go-to for a slightly more stylish, dressed-up tee without going full V-neck. Common in drapey, softer fabrics that hang loosely. You'll see it a lot in streetwear and fashion-forward basics. Henley looks like a crew neck but has a short button placket at the collar. Usually 2 to 5 buttons. No actual collar, just the placket. Named after Henley-on-Thames, in England where rowers wore them during regattas in the 1800s. The buttons were practical for pulling the shirt on and off quickly after races. It sits right between a t-shirt and a polo in terms of dressiness. The placket adds just enough detail to make a plain shirt look more interesting. Wear it buttoned up for a cleaner look, or unbuttoned for a laid-back, rugged vibe. Looks great with the sleeves pushed up. Polo. Short-sleeved shirt with a flat fold-down collar and a 2 or 3 button placket. The fabric is usually piqué cotton, which has that textured waffle-like weave. René Lacoste designed it in 1929 because he was tired of playing tennis in stiff dress shirts with the sleeves rolled up. The breathable knit fabric and short sleeves let athletes actually move. Ralph Lauren turned it into a preppy status symbol in the 1970s. Now it's the unofficial uniform of golf courses, country clubs, and business casual offices everywhere. Tuck it in for a polished look or leave it untucked for the weekend. Raglan. The sleeves run in a diagonal seam from the collar to the underarm instead of meeting at the shoulder. This creates a distinct two-tone look when the body and sleeves are different colors. Named after Lord Raglan, a British commander who needed a sleeve design that allowed easier arm movement after losing his arm in the Battle of Waterloo. The angled seam gives a wider range of motion than a standard sleeve. You'll recognize the classic baseball tee version with white body and colored 3/4 length sleeves. Popular in athletic wear and casual streetwear. The diagonal lines create a broader shoulder look. Ringer. A crew neck tee with contrasting trim around the neckline and sleeve cuffs. The body is one color and the binding is another, usually a bold contrast like white with red or black trim. Got huge in the 1960s and 70s when bands started printing logos on them for merchandise. The contrasting trim gives a retro vintage feel that a plain tee just doesn't have. It's one of those shirts that looks effortlessly cool without trying. Popular with the punk, rock, and skater crowds. Pairs perfectly with jeans and sneakers for that classic throwback aesthetic. Pocket tee. A standard crew neck with a small patch pocket stitched onto the left chest. That's it. One pocket changes the whole shirt. Started as workwear in the early 1900s when men needed somewhere to stash a pen, cigarettes, or a small notebook. The pocket breaks up the plain surface and adds a small visual detail that makes the shirt feel more intentional. Some brands use a contrasting fabric or pattern on the pocket for extra flair. It's casual but slightly more styled than a blank tee. Great for when you want to look like you put in a little effort but not too much. Longline. A tee that's been stretched out so the hem drops well below the waist, sometimes past the hips or even mid-thigh. The silhouette is elongated and often slightly curved at the hem. Came out of the streetwear and hip-hop scenes in the 2000s as oversized and extended proportions became a major trend. The extra length creates a layered look even when you're only wearing one shirt. Works best with slim or tapered pants to balance the proportions. You'll see them in neutral tones like black, white, gray, and earth tones. Side slits at the hem are common to prevent the fabric from clinging. Muscle tee. A sleeveless tee where the sleeves have been cut off at the shoulder seam, leaving the armholes wider and looser than a standard tank top. The opening usually extends down toward the ribs. Bodybuilders in the 1970s and 80s started cutting the sleeves off their gym shirts to show off their arms and get better airflow during workouts. The whole point is to show off your shoulders and arms. It walks the line between a t-shirt and a tank top. Wear it to the gym, the beach, or a summer barbecue. Not exactly office appropriate, but that's the point. Boxy tee, a t-shirt with a wider, squarer cut through the torso. The shoulders are slightly dropped, the body is straight with no taper, and the length is usually cropped a bit shorter than a standard tee. Inspired by vintage and Japanese streetwear aesthetics where relaxed, boxy silhouettes have been popular since the 1980s. The oversized fit gives a laid-back, effortless look without drowning you in fabric. It's the opposite of a slim-fit tee. Works great tucked into high-waisted pants or left untucked with shorts. The slightly cropped length keeps it from looking sloppy.